Okay, I'm Nate Starl, and this is my career project and relevance presentation. So first, what the project is basically talking about what technology you want to use in your career path when you get older. So for this introduction, I just basically said that it's been an adapting feature of life for many years, and it continues to advance each and every day, and it has a huge impact on everyone's life. The purpose for me specifically and this project is to see what kind of technology occupational therapists use, because that's what I wanted to do, and some possible future technology that may be used. So before we get into that, a little bit about me. Like I said, I'm Nate Starl. I'm from Waukesha, Wisconsin. I'm the middle child of four brothers and a sister. I am a junior. My major is health and human performance with a emphasis in exercise science. I'm a member of the UW Platteville men's soccer team. And just some stuff I like to do, hang out with friends, fish, cook. And a fun fact about me is I've been to Disney World 14 times. So first, the requirements to become an OT is to get your undergrad, which is what I'm doing right now. Most common majors for undergrad before you go to OT school would be exercise science, kinesiology, anything along those lines. So after you get your undergrad, those 4 years, you go to a OT program, OT schooling, and those programs, depending on how, if you do full time or part time, can take 2 to 3 years. So you're going to school for 6 to 7 years before you become an occupational therapist. So some personal strengths for me that I believe would help me be a good occupational therapist is that I'm a people person. You work with clients a lot, so that's really important. Determined. I need to help people rehab them, and if I'm not determined to do so, I won't be very effective. Considerate and patient. These two are important because when someone's rehabbing, it might be really hard on them physically or mentally. So just being considerate of them and what they're feeling and patient to let them get through the process is really important. Creative, you need to be creative because you might not think of how to do something right away, or you might have an obstacle come up and you might need to think of something new to get around that. And I put athlete because I've been playing sports all my life and I've rehabbed before, so I think having that background will also make me a better occupational therapist. Like I've been saying this whole time, my career that's desired would be an occupational therapist. I would like to work in a hospital or clinic setting just because the hours are very set and I just think it would be really fun. I would like to work with people of all ages so that way I get a multiple point of views in different ages act differently, obviously. And not maybe right away, but I think at some point athlete specific would be something interesting. Some interests and values that an occupational therapist should have. You should put the patient first. They're coming to you for help, and so your job is to help them and rehab them. So putting their needs first is probably the most important value you can have. I put healthcare because if you should be interested in healthcare and know how the healthcare system works if you're going to be working in it. I put personal health and overall health. These two are linked to a value that occupational therapists should have because you want them to have good overall health, whether that's physical, mental, emotional, all of that. And you should also care about your personal health because how are you going to preach health to others if you're not healthy yourself? Understanding is another big one because you have to understand where the patient's coming from and understand how their body reacts to stuff. You can't just be so closed-minded. And flexible is another one because patients may cancel on you, patients may come up to you in the middle of the day saying they need help. So having being flexible and being able to adapt easily would be a good quality to have. So daily tasks of an occupational therapist is pretty simple. Well, not simple, but pretty outlined. Most of the time, you're meeting with patients and evaluating them and assessing their needs. You also will be demonstrating exercises to patients depending on what kind of help they need. You all will also prescribe exercises for them to do on their own, and you will collaborate with coworkers, other medical professionals that your patient may also be seeing. The important 21st century learning skills I put down would be problem solving, collaborative, creative, critical thinking, adaptability, and communication skills. All these will be important in being an occupational therapist because you have to solve problems and how to and you have to figure out how to rehab people. And any job you need to be collaborative and have good communication skills. You're not going to be working by yourself, but especially in the healthcare field, you'll be talking with other professionals and being able to collaborate with them and communicate will be very important. Some challenges of an occupational therapist I put down would be patience. Patients may be not unwilling, but they may have a harder time working with you, or they might be upset about having to go to therapy. Time and commitment I put together in regards to the schooling. It takes a lot of time and a lot of commitment to do something for 7 years. You have to overcome many obstacles, like whether it be a patient not being able to do exercise correctly, and you have to get over that obstacle and think of something else. That would be an example. Time management I put because you have a lot of different patients, a lot of different exercises, a lot of different programs you have to use. So being able to manage your time wisely is very important. And constantly changing healthcare. Odds are when I go to occupational therapy school, 5 years later after that, there's gonna be something new. So just that it's constantly changing might be a challenge and how to keep up with it. So for the technology part, the first technology I put would be apps. Apps are used very common in occupational therapy, mostly for rehab. It's very useful for tactile and hand-eye coordination. And some examples of apps that are used for this would be Piano Tiles, Fruit Ninja, and Eye Movement. More technology I found in occupational therapy would be robotics and computerization. These are used to assist people in movement. It's safer and more effective, and is an option for unsteady patients. Some example, like here in the picture, that's the Locomat. As you can see, maybe someone can't walk correctly or they can't put a lot of pressure on them. This suspends them and will make it a more safe and effective way for them to rehab. Here's just a general technology, kind of what's already being used. iPad, a laptop computer, that's where most likely all your patient records and files will be kept, and that's how you communicate a lot of the time. I put down Smart Shoes. This is an app that helps you with your feet and walking. A lot of occupational therapists, the research I've done shows a lot of problems with walking and foot pain. And I also put fitness assessments like MyFitnessPal and questionnaires. This will make it easy to assess their needs or how you can help them. So, in conclusion, technology is very important in any job you do, and it will also be a part of your life most likely all the time. It's always developing, but that being said, there's multiple choices and routes to use for technology. You don't have to use one thing over the other. Whatever you find best works for you. And it's very important that you learn how to implement this technology in rehab because, like I said, it's always changing and technology is the future. And so you need to learn how to implement it into your job. There's my references, and there is my resume. Thank you.